Hey, what's up guys, Jaeky here. Today we're going to be unboxing and reviewing the Lemokey keyboards from Keychron. Shout out to Keychron for sending these out for review, but as always, that does not affect my opinion of them. I will be doing a giveaway of both of these keyboards, so if you want a chance to enter, all you have to do is make sure you're subscribed to the channel, leave a like on this video, and leave a comment below saying which keyboard you want, whether it's the X1 or X3, and why you want the board. So the Lemokey keyboards are a new budget lineup from Keychron. I have the X1 and the X3 here, and the only difference between the two are the layout. So the X1 is a TKL and then the X3 is a full-sized. Like I said, these keyboards are for the budget market. So the X1 is retailing for $37 USD and the X3 is retailing for $50 USD. Both these keyboards have a red LED backlight. It is not RGB, it is only the red color. And for the switches, you can choose between a red linear switch or a brown switch. They are both factory lubed, which helps enhance the sound of the switches out of the box as well. So let's go over the specs of these keyboards really quickly. They are both 1000 Hz polling rate, which is very standard nowadays, and they do both support QMK and VIA, which is really nice for customization. That allows for you to create a bunch of different macros, as well as just rebind every key on the keyboard as well. This is an expanded view of the internals of the keyboard, and it does come with an acoustic foam, which helps with the sound of the keyboard as well. Later on in the sound test, you will see that this keyboard does sound very nice, especially for the price point. Alright guys, getting into the unboxing here, you are presented with a quick start guide, which will tell you all of the keyboard shortcuts that you need, and of course the keyboard itself. On the bottom of the board, you have 4 rubber feet with 2 kick-up stands. In the box, you also get extra keycaps, so you see all of those red accent keycaps. They give you a black version, so if you don't like the red accents on the keycaps, you can swap them out for the black versions. And of course, you also get a USB-C cable. It is rubber, not braided, which is to be expected at this price point. And you also get a keycap / switch puller as well. So with the Lemokey X3, you get the same things in the box as you do with the X1. Again, you get those replacement keycaps in case you want to swap out those red modifiers. And on the X3 here, we have the brown tactile switch. Alright guys, now that I have both of the keyboards on the desk, I want to go through a couple more differences between the X1 and the X3. So obviously, other than the form factor, one other difference is that the full-sized X3 has an enclosed design where the case kind of wraps around the bottom of the keycaps. And as you can see on the 10 keyless version, the X1, it is a floating keycap design, so you can see the stem of the keycaps and the case doesn't actually go up to wrap around all of those keys. Another difference is on the X1, the USB-C port is going to be on the left side of the keyboard, whereas on the X3, the USB-C port is actually recessed inside and in the middle of the keyboard. So another difference is on the X1, on the bottom of the board, for the flip-up feet, you only have one adjustable level. So if you leave it flat, that's 2 degrees typing angle, and if you flip it up, you're going to get a 7-degree typing angle, whereas on the X3, if you look on the bottom of the board, you still have the 2 flip-up feet, but on the X3, you actually have 3 different adjustment levels. So completely flat without any of the feet, you're getting a 4-degree typing angle, and then you can either choose the first level, which is a 6-degree typing angle, or the highest level on the very bottom, which is an 8.7 degree typing angle. So on the X3, you are getting a little bit more customization in terms of the typing angle and the adjustments on the feet. Alright guys, now that I have the keyboard plugged into my computer, let's first go over the build quality of the board. You are getting a completely plastic design, obviously at this price point, but it does feel very solid. So there is no flex whatsoever in the board. And when I shake it, there's very little rattle. And the keycaps you're getting here are double shot ABS plastic. So it is a pretty light board because it is made out of plastic. When you put it on the table, it does grip actually pretty nicely to the table, but you can slide it around with a little bit of force. And I actually prefer that. I actually prefer that I can slide it around because when I am playing, sometimes I like to adjust my keyboard and I like being able to slide it around rather than having to pick up the whole thing, which sometimes you can't do with those full aluminum boards. But overall, the build quality does feel very solid for the price point. Alright, so I'm just reading over the quick start guide here, and you can change the lighting mode just by going function Q to change the effects. So right now we're on a breathing mode now. As you can see right now, we have a spiral mode as well, so you can cycle through all of the lighting effects with function Q. You can pretty much do most of the things you would want to just through the function keys on your keyboard. So you can change lighting effect with, again, function Q. Function tab will turn the lighting on and off. There is actually quite a bit of effects on there. So there's a bunch of reactive ones and there's also just static ones as well. So again, function tab will turn your lighting on and off. And then F5 is obviously to decrease the brightness, and F6 will increase the brightness of your LEDs. You can also turn on and off N key rollover. So if you do function N, you can switch between 6 key rollover and N key rollover. I would just recommend leaving it on N key rollover at all times, especially if you're gaming. And obviously you have your multimedia controls to play, pause, skip, and rewind, and also your volume controls. You can also do cool stuff like different layers on the keyboard as well through the VIA or QMK software. And then you can switch to those layers on the fly with keyboard shortcuts as well. Okay, now let's move on to the software. So I'm going to be using VIA to customize this keyboard. And currently right now, since the file is not approved by GitHub, you do have to load it up here into VIA. It's very simple to do. You just go to the Keychron website. You can download the file for this, and then you can just load it in here. After it's loaded, you can then change around all of the keyboard mappings. So you can change any of the keys. You can also change different layers. Like I said, you can swap to these layers on the fly through your keyboard shortcuts. And so you can add different layers. You can create macros here as well. So pretty much anything through VIA you can customize. So yeah, it's very robust. The fact that this keyboard is compatible with VIA just opens up so many possibilities for whatever you want to do with the board. All right, guys, now let's get into the sound test section. I will be sound testing both the X1 and the X3 because they both have different switches. The X1 again has the red linear switches, and then the X3 has the brown tactile switches. So I'll do a sound test of both of them so that you can hear what they both sound like. So in terms of the red linear switches versus the brown tactiles, I actually prefer the browns for typing. They are very tactile. When compared to something like a Cherry MX Brown, they are a lot more tactile than the Cherry MX Brown. They do remind me of the Cherry MX Brown, but they are a little bit more tactile, which I prefer. And I was actually pretty impressed with the sound as well, especially for the price of these keyboards. I've listened to like $200 gaming keyboards from big companies that actually sound worse than these keyboards. So the fact that these keyboards sound as good as they do is actually pretty impressive considering the price point. But yeah, overall, I am really impressed with the Lemokey lineup. I think they're a solid budget option for those of you who are looking for a budget keyboard, but also offers really good customizability with the QMK compatibility and the VIA compatibility as well. These keyboards are fantastic if you need that customization on a budget to make macros with different layers. It's really, really solid. The build quality and sound for the price point was very impressive as well. But that's pretty much it, guys. That was my unboxing and review of the Lemokey keyboards from Keychron. If you guys want to check them out, I'll leave a link in the description below as always. But I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope to help you out. If it did, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.